Right, so the next move, number 50, is left spin low kick to high right kick. This is just the alternative to down 3-2, the counter hit launcher. This is a high instead of the mid. It's still a high crush because of the low, so that's still quite good. It still needs counter hit to be a combo, a natural combo, you know, you need your counter hit to get both hits to connect. They shouldn't be ducking the high in this string because they should be aware that there's a mid after the low that will launch them. So they shouldn't be ducking the high unless you're just exclusively using this string and not mixing it up with the mid. You know, you shouldn't get ducked and launch punished for this. If you do get ducked, if this string does get ducked the high, it's kind of your own fault because you've been overusing it. But if they stand block it, it's safe. Quite safe. I forget how safe exactly it is, but you won't get punished for it anyway. That's for sure. So it's good. Quite good. Okay, low kick, spin punch. Oh yeah, the toe kick thingy to the kind of backhand high. So another low high. Another high crush actually. It will go under highs. And it is really fast, it's 12 frames. This toe kick thing here is 12 frame startup. So that's really fast. Down 4 by itself is minus on hit. It's about -2 I think on hit. So it does leave you in full crouch like a lot of her lows. But again, being at minus is a little bit, it's not the best, but some people are maybe taken by surprise with your full crouch from, you know, just a down 4. The down 4 just looks like such an innocuous little attack, you know, a nothingy attack that's doesn't mean anything. And if they're not really familiar with Anna, they might not know that it actually leaves her in full crouch. So they might not be geared up for the full crouch mix-up. But it's not the best way. It's not the best way to get into that, just because of its minus. And the actual string, the down 4-1. Again, I don't think it's that great. It's a low high. And it is only a combo on counter hit. Okay, so if the down 4 is a counter, then the 1 will hit as well. But if it's not, they can always duck the 1. They can duck that high, and they can launch punish you for that. So that's why it's not good. You know, obviously, if you use this, you could die for it, and it's not. You've got to balance the risk versus the reward. The reward for this is not amazing. What does it do for you really? To risk getting launched for it, it's not amazing. You can cancel the 1 in the string. You can cancel the 1 into the of the string into a side step by doing down 4-1 and tapping up, or tapping down, or holding up and holding down to go into a side step or a side walk, depending on whether you just tap it or hold it. If you hold it, you can go into a side walk. And this looks really evasive because obviously you're going into the sidewalk and you think you should be able to get around a lot of their retaliations, but in reality, what I've found is that people tend to catch you. If they're smart, if they're sharp, they tend to, even if you cancel it, you know, they will get you. Even if you're sidewalking. I mean, sometimes you might get away with this cancel. You know, online, yeah, I suppose you could. Cancels are better, definitely online. But I wouldn't use it or abuse it, because it's not that great. Down 4-1 is good for Oki because it picks up back rollers. So if people are back rolling, it will sort of re-juggle them. You'll get another little mini juggle off your back roll. Yeah, let's turn back roll on. Bang. Another little mini juggle. Which is, you know, that's good. But realistically, people aren't going to be back rolling that often. You know, most people know that it's not the best way to get off the ground back rolling. So, but just be aware that it can do that. It has that property. The cancel, I suppose, is okay for Oki as well, because if they're on the ground and if they like to stay on the ground, you know, a lot of players do like to just lie on the ground. I suppose you can use this to kind of bait out maybe a wake up kick, you know, with the cancel. And if you manage to sidewalk it, then you can always, you know, launch punish the wake up kick. So that's kind of useful. Down 4-1 is also pretty good for floating Christie and Eddie, the capos. If they're going into relax a lot, you can. It's quite a good move for that. So it's quite useful for that. But don't abuse it because it's low high. Okay, Bloody Scissors, number 52. Down 1+2. This isn't unblockable. Okay, it's not. I mean, unblockables, you know. What can I say about this move? Well, I suppose it looks cool. It doesn't track. I think it used to track. I think it used to be quite a good little tech roll trap. You know, if people are tech rolling right away, and you can do this, but definitely doesn't have that use in this game. And it's just slow. And even though the animation sort of looks like a high crush, just the fact that she crouches, you know, she's kind of crouching down. It's not at all. You know, you can get hit by anything that's high. So just don't use it. Just, you know, there's nothing. No, don't use it. Okay, don't use this either. This is another useless move. Heel grind. I mean, I say useless. What I mean is, if you're standing, if you and your opponent are standing, you know, for some reason, they made her able to do this move from against an opponent who is standing. I mean, it's okay if your opponent is grounded on the ground, and you just want to stomp on them, and you know, like that. But if they are standing, why on earth would you do this against a standing opponent? You know? I mean, look at the range on it for anything, for starters. It's like, that's never going to hit. That's never going to be... doesn't crush highs. It's not... I mean, you'd have to be out of your mind to want to use this on a standing opponent. So that's really weird. It's minus on hit as well, okay? So even if by some miracle this does hit on a standing opponent, it's minus, so you don't have any advantage of following up, so just don't use it unless they are on the ground. Okay, this is a good move. Number 54, Scarlet Rain. Down back 1. It's good. You know, it's one of her best mids, I would say. For a variety of reasons. First of all, you can go into full crouch after this move by holding down back. That will get you into full crouch. Now, the reason why this is quite a good way to go into full crouch is that down back 1 has a couple of extensions, a couple of strings after it, a low and a mid, both of which have the potential to launch your opponent, okay? So this should be, yeah, the strings are right after this. So the strings are, you can either do down back 1-1, which is a low extension. Now that launches on counter hit, the low. Sorry, just the low has to be counter hit, not the actual. Oops. No. So the low, if the low is a counter hit, then it will launch. If the mid doesn't have to be, the mid extension doesn't have to be a counter hit per se. They just have to duck the duck after this. If they duck after this, then you can launch them with the mid extension. Okay. Currently, I've got my opponent blocking as their secondary action. So let me just turn that off. Just now. Okay, so that's the combo off of down back 1-4. You have to do this initial jab, okay, to get the full combo, to get the most damage out of it. It's just a weird juggle mechanic to do with the way that this move launches your opponent. You can't go into your standard juggle straight away like that. Can't do that. You have to jab, then juggle, and you get a lot of damage off of that. Now, down back 1-4 is not a natural combo, whereas down back 1-1 is. So down back 1-1, if the down back 1 hits, the low will also hit, okay? But down back 1-4 is only a natural combo on counter hit, okay? So if the down back 1 is counter, you will also be able to launch them with the mid, and they won't be able to block that mid. So what you can gather from this is that those are two really quite scary extensions to this initial down back 1, because both of them have launching capabilities depending on what your opponent does or doesn't do. That's quite, and it's a true 50-50 mix-up because it's a mid and a low. You know, we've had problems with Ana before where it's been extensions have been either high or low, which is just no good because that's not a mix-up. This is good because it's low versus a mid, so they've got to choose one or the other. They can't get around both really. So that's pretty good. So that's why down back 1 is quite useful for getting into full crouch, because it represents the threat of being launched, and your opponent has to, as soon as they see down back 1, as soon as you do down back 1, they've got a decision to make in their own heads, which is, do I take the low, this low? Do I take that? You know, this low is, by the way, +4 on hit, okay? This low gives you frame advantage. So that's even better, because then you can really continue your offense. You're in a good position, +4, it's quite good, and you're in crouch, so you've got access to all that. So that's a bit of a nightmare for your opponent. If you're in full crouch at frame advantage, that's kind of scary versus Ana. So they have to think after they see this initial down back 1, am I going to just take the low and then she's going to be in full crouch with frame advantage? Do I want to take that, or am I going to try ducking the low, but then the mid might hit that whiff? That was weird. That was weird. I don't know why that happened. Must just be an axis thing. Um, or, you know, yeah, so am I going to duck and try and block the low, or what am I going to do? So they've got that decision to make in their own heads right away. So that kind of, that will create a little bit of hesitation. It will throw them a bit, just slow them down a bit. So it can allow you to get into your full crouch and threaten them. I think it really does allow you to do that. Obviously, you've got to be careful because the mid by itself is actually unsafe. -12, I think, down back 1. And although you can hold down back to go into crouch, you can still be punished for the down back 1 before you manage to get into full crouch. You know, holding down back afterwards is not going to save you from a punish. So just keep that in mind. But realistically, they should not be attacking right away after this Scarlet Rain down back 1. They shouldn't be. If they are, they're either really stupid or you've messed up and you haven't been either mixing them up enough, or you know, they've just really got a good read on you and they know that you're only going to do this initial down back 1. So yeah, you've got to be you've got to kind of use your mix-ups, use the extensions now and again, okay? Use the mix-up factor, use the no mix-up. I'm just realizing there why that down back 1-4 is whiffing after I do down back 1-1, because this is another thing to keep in mind. Down back 1-1 on hit, it has a funny axis thing. It puts you off axis to your opponent in a weird way, and it's kind of annoying, and I've experienced this before and it's a bit bothersome. So if you hit with down back 1-1 and then immediately, okay, you're in full crouch, you've got frame advantage, you think, okay, I'm going to go for the full crouch sweep, the down forward 2, this, okay, but if you do it right away after you hit down back 1-1, the axis problems can cause that to whiff. You see? Whiff. Look at that weird axis. How we're totally not aligned. You know, if you do it right away, that can happen. Yeah, it can happen. Definitely, it has happened to me. Sometimes you're okay, but sometimes it's a whiff factor, and that's annoying. So that is why I think after I do down back 1-1, if I do down back 1-4, because of the axis issues, that's why it's whiffing, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, I should mention that down back 1-4 is steppable. Okay, they can sidestep after down back 1 and they will avoid the down back 4. Okay, so, but they can't sidestep the low. So it is, you know, you've still got a mix up for that. That's not, that sidestep is not an option select. It won't get around both follow-up options. So it's not too bad, the fact that they can sidestep the mid. But you know, just keep in mind this weird axis thing about down back 1-1. What I do to try and correct this is after down back 1-1, I kind of see that there. I kind of tap. I kind of move my thumb into the down forward part of the D-pad, so that I realign myself, and then I go for the sweep. It's like just a little realignment that I do, so that like a kind of a tap, or maybe a little hold it a little bit after down back 1-1, just so I realign myself, so that I don't have that weird axis thing, because it has happened to me, and it's does drive you a bit crazy sometimes. So what else do I need to say about down back 1? Just about the low follow-up, just in case you're wondering about this low follow-up, it can't be hop kicked, you know, if they block the down back and think can't be bothered, just gonna hop kick, you know, try and hop kick this low. They can't do it, they will be launched for trying to hop kick. The low will launch them, surprisingly, even though they're trying to hop kick. So that's quite good, because if they try and hop kick and you do the mid, so this extension, it's a weird kind of a float. It's kind of difficult to convert a hop kick into a combo. If they hop kick and you do this mid, so if they tend to hop kick after down back 1, then it's probably better to do, well, it is better to do down back 1-1, the low, and then get a combo that way. But yeah, no, this is a really good mid. It is a bound, so definitely use this. It has good tracking to Anna's right, which is her weak side. So this tracks to her right. I don't think it tracks to her left. I'm pretty sure you can sidestep it that direction. But if players have experience of Anna, they will want to be sidestepping to their left and to her right. So that's another good thing about it, is that it tracks to her weak side. So, you know, that really helps. Really helps. 16 frames startup. Just a down back 1 on its own. If this hits just on its own, okay, it's +3 on hit. So not a huge amount, but again, with the extensions, a lot of hesitation there, and it's kind of more frame advantage than you know it is actually. Yep. So can we move on from this? I think so. I think we've covered everything. It's a really key. This is a really key. This whole string set is a really key part of her move list. So I just don't want to miss anything out when I'm talking about this. But I think we've covered it. Okay, 57. Low jab, rising kick. Yeah, this is just an 11 frame variant on the down 1, neutral 4. So this is just an 11 frame version, which does more damage. Again, you need counter hit for both hits to connect. Has to be counter. It's not brilliant. I suppose it's okay. Oh, Mudslide. Yeah, this is this is one of those attacks that you kind of think, no, it's just easy mode. You know, it's a combo starting low that you can get a lot of damage off, and it's tempting to want to use it. Definitely, you think, oh, just use it, but it's too slow. Realistically, it's 27 frames startup, so it's so seeable. It's definitely seeable. Your opponent is going to see this big ass low coming, and it's launch punishable, which you might expect from a combo starting low. So you will get launched for having it blocked. So I would say, I wouldn't say not use it. I mean, sometimes out of a sidestep or a sidewalk, it can be quite good. If you avoid something, can be quite good, but I just definitely wouldn't abuse it, unless you happen to find out that your opponent isn't seeing it, isn't seeing the animation. If you find out that your opponent can't see this animation, then hey, sure, you can do it all day and night because it gives you full combo, and why would you not do it? But I would be conservative at first and be careful with it. Okay. A severe quake. Right, this is another low. It's another high crushing. Just quickly, Mudslide, big low, doesn't high. I think it has a little tiny bit of high crush later on in the animation, but it's not a true high crush, just so you know. This is a high crush though. Down back 4. It's a high crush. It's another one of these lows that look how Anna is going around her opponent here. This kind of a off-axis low. She's got a lot of these moves. I mean, I'm right at Nina's back right now, just by doing this move over and over again. So it's interesting, but I don't know how to exploit it just yet. But definitely interesting. So she has this high crushing low, which she has a couple of extensions off. This move at the moment, the severe quake, is down back 4-3. It's a double low string, low string. It's slow, to be honest with you, and launch punishable if you do both hits. I think it's delayable. You can delay the second hit, the 3, and if the 3 is a counter hit, then that starts a combo. If the 3 is a counter hit, obviously you would probably want to delay it to get the counter. Yeah, there is delay on it. Definitely delay. It's very slow and it's launch punishable, and if they block the initial down back 4, so the first part of the string, then they can interrupt it. They can interrupt either ender of this string, because there's a mid ender as well. They can interrupt it with an 11 frame while standing move. I mean, I think the best way to use it would be to maybe just do the down back 4 on its own, because you can kind of threaten the follow-ups, because the next low is a counter hit launcher, and you've got a mid. Down back 4 is a mid, so it's a true mix-up in that sense. But I've got to be honest and say that I don't use it that much. I think this down back 4-4 is quite good for Oki because of the position the opponent is in, face down. Quite good. And it's a true 50-50 mix-up, so I suppose it has potential. But the mid extension, the mid ender, this is actually also launch punishable. It's -16 if this mid is blocked. So both enders launch punishable. So a lot of risk involved. That's why I say just maybe the initial one, and hope that they don't, hope that they just hesitate a little bit. And maybe maybe with the axis issue, because she is going off axis. Maybe there's some way that you can exploit that with a sidestep to bait out a whiff. That's worth experimenting with, and I'll probably have a look into that. But that's the only way I would probably use that. Oh yeah, hunting swan now. This is the move that I named my channel after, not because it's a particularly awesome, effective, good move. I just kind of like the name of it. I think the name's quite cool. It's one of these unblockables, It's actually unblockable that you can get a combo off. You can pick them up with down 4-1 if this hits. You know, but that's not going to happen. I think realistically you're not going to... Hunting Swan is not going to be effective for you in a match. It's funny because this move, Nina has this move as well, and it's called something completely different. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's not anything to do with swans or birds of any kind. It's something else, but it's the same move. It looks exactly like this, but they've changed the name of it, which I think is kind of funny because they haven't bothered to change the name of Blonde Bomb. You know, Blonde Bomb is still Blonde Bomb for Anna, even though she ain't blonde. But they changed the name of this move. So only Anna has Hunting Swan. So, but I quite like the name. But don't use it because even the cancel, don't use it. No. Okay, next. Stalker repel. This is pretty good. It's a high crushing low. Okay, the first hit is a high crushing low. It's another one of these lows that will just move you around your opponent. Nearly all of Anna's lows have this axis effect, which is, you know, I never really noticed it before until I started doing this tutorial, but it's kind of interesting. But again, I don't know what to do with that right now. So down back 3+4 puts you into full crouch. It doesn't stagger the first hit if it's blocked. The first low won't stagger. The second high will still come out. It's a low high. Okay. On clean hit, so up close, it'll knock them down like that. From a little bit further away, it doesn't. You know, the range is... You know, depending on how far away you are, you might not get the knockdown. It's a low high, so it can be tricky sometimes for the opponent to deal with because they have to they have to duck after the low and wait for the high to come out before they punish it. Because if they try and punish immediately after blocking the low, like I said, the low doesn't stagger Anna, so the high will still come out, and if they try and punish it after blocking the low, they will probably eat the high. And a good little use for this is at the wall, because at the wall, if they block the low and then try and retaliate, and they get hit by the high 3, it will wall splat them. Okay, if both the low and the high hits, it doesn't really wall splat in a usable way. It does wall splat, but not in a way you can combo off. But if it's just the high that hits, then it wall splats them for a full combo, like that, just like that. So sometimes that's good when they wake up, and if they tend to block low, and you do this move, if they block the first low, you know, they're often, especially when they're at the wall, they want to try and punish and get an opportunity to get away from the wall. So this can re-splat them for a combo, which is quite good. Anything else about this move? If they don't duck the high, okay, the high in this string, then it's safe. It's a safe move. If they don't duck the high. So that's good. No, not everybody knows that it's a high. Some people think it's a mid, so it's definitely quite good. Yeah. Okay, next one, cross-cut saw. Back 1-2-2. This is a mid-high mid. Okay, so the second hit is a high, and Yeah, Anna and her highs. We're back to this high thing. You know, they can duck it and they can launch you. The first hit, the back one, has a built-in sidestep. You know, because Anna just loves to be off axis. You know, the more off axis, the better. That's definitely what I've been discovering, going through these moves. Um, but it's not really as evasive as a lot of other characters who have sidestep, uh, a sidestep built into a move. I'm thinking of Bob or Asuka. You know, their sidestep moves are very effective, very annoying. This one, I don't know how evasive it is. I don't think it really gets around that much. But it is mid. Uh, it doesn't give you any frame advantage on hit, the back one. I think it's neutral on hit. So it doesn't really give you much reward for your risk. And as I said, the second hit is high, so that's a bit dangerous. I would probably only use the first hit. Probably. I mean, the third hit is delayable. Yeah, that was quite a lot of delay. Which, you know, I'm a big fan of delay in strings, definitely. And it does wall splat. The third hit will wall splat them. So I suppose if they're not ducking the high, yeah, that's viable. You can use that to your advantage. The delay, you know, delay is good. But for that to work, obviously you need to get past the high. So risky. Okay, that's about all for that. Double slap. This quite funny. The first hit of this two hit string is a homing move. So it will catch sidesteppers because it homes 100% in both directions, but it's only the first hit. Okay, the first slap of the two slap combo. The second one is not homing, as far as I know. I don't think it is. It's 2 hit high, it's natural combo, and it leaves them back turned. I talked about this before. The fact that there's no guaranteed follow up after back 2-2. It's not gonna. There's nothing for free that you can do after this. Even at the wall, I tested it, and even at the wall, they can stop you, whatever you do, because back turned jabs are quicker than 10 frames. It just means that even though this does give you frame advantage on hit, okay, 5 frames plus back turned, but they can get out of whatever follow up you choose, but they're obviously at a disadvantage, especially at the wall.